Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us on the Nightmare Hunter Podcast presents another episode of Monday Mayhem. Here in the chat, here in the studio with me is Robbie Jed Brains, and we're sporting our new Dark Angel medical hats. If you guys have not had a chance to go over and check them out, they've got some awesome T-shirts and hats in addition to the best kits in the business. Go by, check out Dark Angel Medical. Robbie, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm living the dream, man. Had a good time at the convention the other day, but it flat tuckered me out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's you keeping up with me throughout the day. You seem like you was having a pretty good time.
We got to talk to a lot of good folks and sold quite a few books. I was surprised. I mean, when we went into it, I expected, we'd do a few, but we did way more business than I thought we were going to for a little one-day show like that. I actually sold more in that one day than I did it the entire time we were in Ohio last year.
That's good.
Not bad at all. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. Of course, it's at the same spot where that Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Festival is going to be in October. So I'm going to do the same thing then too. I'm going to go do a live and walk around and talk to folks. So I think that's a good way to do it, because there was quite a few people that showed up because they saw that live that I did when we first started the day.
Hey, you gotta market yourself whenever you can.
Yep. Yeah, and as a writer goes, I'm a terrible marketer.
Me too.
I did not know I would have to know marketing to become a writer, and I'm learning that lesson every day, trying to get a little bit better at it, trying to learn new things. And thus far, I've used what I like to refer to as the wet toilet paper method. I will throw something at the wall, and if it sticks, I'll do it again. If it doesn't, I'll try something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had those conversations about things, and just like the natural voice AI, I was like, hey, I'm going to try it and see how it works. And you're like, well, if it works, then I might do it. It's just, trial and error.
We got a lot of folks in the house already. Awesome.
67.
Heck yeah.
The little ticker at the top.
Well, just to give you all a little quick update, the new project that I'm working on, Dark Frontiers, Mountain Devil of the Absarokas, is at about 60,000 words. I'm hoping to have it finished this week. Hope to be in edits by the end of the week. Then it'll just be a matter of turnaround on editing and cover. I need to get a hold of my cover artist and get that ball rolling, so it's done as I finish the book. And Robbie's right on my heels. He's at 40,000 words in his new book, and I really think you guys are going to like it. You guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. It's really interesting. It's taken a different turn, and it's got some surprises in it. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Robbie, what's it called?
It's called Howl of the Night Wolf.
Howl of the Night Wolf. You want to tell us a little bit about it before we jump in the middle of the rest of this?
Sure. I needed to kind of, not that I needed to take a break, but there were some things that were going on. And you know what those things are, but I needed to give myself some space before I got back into either the next Shadow Walkers or the new Shadow Hunters. So I got to thinking, I was like, I'd like to do something kind of not exactly like Dark Frontiers, but I'd like to go back in time a little bit and kind of tell almost like a prequel. So this is set in 18th century Scotland, like 1752-ish.
Something like that.
Shortly
after the Battle of Culloden.
Yep. Yeah. Shortly after that battle, that doesn't have much of anything to do with the book.
No, not at all. Although, if you ever want to get yourself in the right frame of mind for writing that, listen to the song, the Sky Boat song. Dude, that song, if that song don't get your blood to boiling,
your wood's wet.
That's right. That don't light your fire, your wood's wet. That's such a beautiful song.
So, but anyway, this is kind of like, this is dipping back in time for not just my series, but for some surprise things for the entire universe, which covers both of us. So there's some stuff that gets tied together, and there's some stuff that gets opened up. Let's say.
And I'm telling you, he's hitting the nail on the head. He's doing it very well. And I'm going to brag on Robbie a little bit because I know he ain't going to do it himself. But this is his fourth book, and I'm already seeing more progression in his writing style than I had in my first 10 books. Robbie is really, really advancing not only advancing his own craft, but he's really cementing his style, and his storytelling ability is really coming along. I'm very impressed with how fast he's picked it up and how fast he's starting to learn lessons it took me years to learn.
Well, I had a good teacher.
I don't know who that might be. Doc. I keep telling Robbie he doesn't give himself enough credit.
Doc taught me words, but
yeah, Doc taught you the big words, the $20 words that you break down into loose change.
That's right.
But I told Robbie, I said I could recommend a book till the cows came home, but if it wasn't well written, nobody's going to want to read it no matter what. And he's doing a good job. So, Robbie, brother, be proud of yourself because I'm proud of you.
Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, this is, this is like DA said, this is a different sort of book from what y'all are going to be used to from my first three. Some of you may not like it. Some of you may like it. But I've had a lot of fun writing this book. I've tried to stay true to a lot of the Scottish dialect and things like that. So that may be where I lose some people. But, it is what it is. I felt like I had to keep, it's like I told DA when we were first talking about this earlier in backstage.
I told you. Thanks, Don.
When Mel Gibson made Braveheart, he didn't speak William Wallace's lines in modern English. I mean, he used the Scottish accent and used their words. I felt like in my heart,
unlike Kevin Costner as Robin Hood.
Yeah, there you go.
Unlike some Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
Yes, I love Carrie always burning him on that. That's by far the funniest ever. That's the best dig ever. But anyway, I felt like in my heart, I felt like I was going to write this book and I was going to do it. I needed to do it right. So, the narration part of the book is in modern English, obviously, but I've done a lot of research on the dialect. So any character dialogue is going to be in that 17th century or 18th century Scottish dialect. So,
which the more you read it, the easier it gets to spot it. But he's also got explanations in there for you.
Yeah, there'll be a glossary at the end or index, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the book that it'll explain all the terms. But I just felt like it was more important to keep it that way during the dialogue of the characters. So, that being said,
it's more true to the characters, and I think it's appropriate. It just some folks might find it a little hard to follow.
Yep.
But then again, people loved the movie Rob Roy. That was a great freaking movie, and they went heavy on the dialogue.
They did.
So, without giving away any spoilers, folks, don't expect this one to be just like the other three books, but it's different, but in a good way. I think you're really going to like it because Robbie's really starting to spread his wings as a writer, and he's doing well. He's picking up a lot of the tricks of the trade. He's picking them up quick, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this book because I know I've been enjoying reading it.
I hope they like it.
I think they will, brother. But anyway, before we jump back into the writing project, I thought I'd go back and read over what we all did together last week.
Do you want to show that what you want to show?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For those of you who are in the chat tonight, Miss Lene's not here tonight. Please keep Miss Lene in your prayers. She's having a medical procedure done, and she probably won't be back with us till Saturday because she's going to be recovering. So we'll just keep her in your prayers. And there's a few other folks that are routinely in the chat that you also keep them in your prayers as well. hold on a second. I just got my phone just buzzed. Miss Lenny just texted me. She said, all is well. Pain in my leg is gone. Moderate pain in back. Much love. Well, there we go. So she's home. She's resting. And we're definitely praying that she heals quickly. And she's back to full on sassy and back with us in no time at all. Also, prayers for Maggie. She's the one that sent in, Maggie Johnson. She's the one that sent in that video that we watched the other night where she filmed the eyes following her. She's had some things went bad with the family. I'm not going to say what. It's not my place to say. Just keep her in your prayers. They've had a tragedy in the family, and just keep her in your prayers, please. But we've been working on something for the moderators. The mods do a fantastic job. They keep the chat going, and they really go above and beyond to help make this community strong and keep us going in the right direction. So having said that, the mods, you probably already saw it in the credits. There at the end where I show that little moderator badge in the intro where it says thank you to the mods. We actually not only designed that patch, but Robbie's making them. And I'm going to be making hats like this. This style of hats for all of the mods. Robbie, you want to show them off? There's the patch itself. It's going to be in leather. And he's got part of it made already. And it is going to look fantastic on these hats. We're kind of limited on the colors that we have in stock right now. So I'm going to have Robbie just kind of make an assortment. And when I get them out to the mods, we'll either let you pick your color, or whoever comes first. I says first come first serve on the colors. But there's a variety of colors, including some camouflage ones, which are going to look pretty slick. And then we're also doing. Well, Robbie, you want to show off the new Nightmare Hunter hat?
Slightly.
Right now, I think we've only got a handful of these made. These are going to be, me and Robbie and Doc and Noah and Steve are all going to have one of these. But if you want one of these, you need to reach out to Robbie because these are now available. And if you place an order, he'll get it shipped out to you fairly quick. But we're pretty proud of that, the way that new Nightmare Hunter logo has turned out. So if you want one of those hats, reach out to Robbie. Robbie, what's your email again?
It's rrainsc8@gmail.com. I think somebody or one of the moderators can probably put it up there on the chat. I don't know if I can or not.
I did the Robbie command, but I think that just talks about your book.
Yeah, that just goes to my books.
Okay, well, I just advertised your book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There it is.
There we go. There you go, folks. If you'd like one of those hats, there's Robbie's email. Shoot him an email, and he'll get that squared away for you. I'll leave that up there for a minute or two so you guys can write it all. I'll write it down or screen cap or whatever you need to do, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the story. But I just wanted to share those with you all because we're pretty proud of some of the stuff we're coming out with, and we're going to be switching the store over from the Teespring store over to another company called Fourth Wall because we've been having a lot of problems with Teespring. In fact, I ordered a T-shirt from Teespring a year and a half ago and still haven't got it. Every time I check it, it says it's in production. I'm like, oh, come on. This is crazy. So I'm not real happy with Teespring. Fourth Wall is a lot better quality shirts, better quality material. And we'll be looking for us for doing some changing the shop over to Fourth Wall real soon. And my wife Annette is going to buy one of those Cricut machines so we can do our own coffee mugs. And we'll do those just direct from here. So we're going to be putting that same Nightmare Hunter logo, the Nightmare Hunter podcast. This one, we'll just put it right in the middle of the screen. This one right here in the middle of the screen. We'll be doing those up on coffee mugs real soon. And if you guys are interested in them, let me know. And because that'll depend on how many we make at a time. But they'll be decent quality, good coffee mugs. And if y'all know me, I love my coffee. So I know a lot of y'all will probably like me. Hey, the water of life. Yeah, I know the Irish term "uska betha" describes whiskey, but I think coffee is just as important.
what is it Rick said in Look 3? A day without coffee is like sleep.
Yep, exactly.
I was pretty proud of that one. I like that line.
That's a good line. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and jump in to the story. And I thought to start us out, what I would do is read what we did last week, and then we will pick up from there. Hope you guys remember your ideas and notes from last week, because we're going to be progressing. Because we're about halfway through Chapter 2, Bloodied and Unbroken. 108 AD, 4 Martius, Ibaracum, York Citadel. Gideon stood in the courtyard with the pouring rain soaking into every article of clothing. Rain or shine, the 9th cohort was practicing or performing calisthenics to prepare them for battle. Over the last few weeks, they had progressed well and were working as a single unit. Gideon was pleased and felt that they would soon be ready to go on their first patrol. "Fratres!" snapped Gideon. "Stand down!" As a unit, they took a few extra steps and locked into the position of attention. Once they were formed up, Gideon took his place in front of them. "Well done," he said. "I know that Mars is looking down on all of you and smiling. Soon we will be blessed with the sting of battle. Prove yourselves worthy, and you will find yourselves rewarded and your names mentioned with pride among the honored dead of the Legion." Cheers rose from the cohort as they smashed their fists against their armored chests. Gideon watched with pride. They had learned their lessons well and worked hard to prove themselves. Little did they know that tomorrow would be their first patrol. Gideon had already seen the orders. They were to patrol along the North Road with a second cohort as reserves. If they did well, then a solo patrol would soon follow. Gideon prepared to say more to his troops when the alarm sounded. Signal horns bellowed from the west side of the citadel. Gideon looked to the western wall and saw 2 men fall with arrows in their chests. "Drop your training gear and grab your weapons," roared Gideon. "We're under attack!" The men scattered, tossing their blunted training gear into the wagon and running for the rack that held their pylons and gladii, buckling on their swords as they ran for the western wall. "Archers!" called one man on the wall. "Take cover!" A cloud of arrows filled the air. Gideon glanced over to see his men already assembling with their spears, swords, and shields. "Ad testudo!" screamed Gideon. "Form the testudo, now!" Gideon almost smiled as the cohort moved fluidly, locking their shields into place as the arrows began raining down on top of them. A few arrows sank into the metal, but most bounced harmlessly away. No screams came from inside the testudo. "Advance to the gate!" roared Gideon. "On me!" Gideon turned and led them directly to the western gate. As they approached the closed wooden doors, the sub-centurion at the controls nodded at Gideon. "Prepare to open the gate," snapped Gideon, stepping inside the testudo. "Ready!" barked the sub-centurion. "Now!" roared Gideon. Instantly, the gate swung open, and Gideon began barking orders. "Advance!" he shouted. "Ready pylons!" Seconds later, the formation moved through the open gate, and it slammed shut behind them. Outside, a war party of blue-painted Picts were scattered around the cleared area between the walls and the citadel and the forest. The area had been cleared by the Legion to give them a kill zone to prevent an enemy force from getting close. However, light ground fog had allowed the Picts to get within arrow range of the walls. Gideon peered through a gap in the shields and spotted the Pictish warlord. He knew that taking out the leader would disperse the others, at least until they could reform with a new leader. But if they were to kill enough of them, they'd withdraw from the field of battle entirely. "Fratres!" shouted Gideon. "Forma unos fini! Form one line! Drop the testudo!" Instantly, they reacted and formed a single line of shields. "Pila yache!" he screamed. As one, the entire cohort aimed and threw their pylon spears. The Picts brought their hide-covered shields up, but they were no match for the Roman iron. The pylons punched through and found their marks, killing 20 of the blue-painted Picts in an instant. "Parate!" roared Gideon. "Gladium reconde!" As one, they all drew their gladii and locked their shields together, placing the flat of the blade on the top of the shield. "Apognati!" Gideon bellowed as a rumble began deep in his chest. Gideon let forth the dreaded Roman Baratus war cry, which was picked up by the entire cohort. They roared as they raced across the open field directly at what remained of the Pictish lines. Just before they closed the distance, Gideon and Claudius fell back. Claudius dropped to one knee and locked his shield on top of his back. Gideon stepped onto Claudius's thigh, then onto the shield before leaping over the line of battle. Still screaming his Baratus, Gideon landed a few feet from the Pictish warlord and drove his Spatha sword through his chest, then ripped the blade free as he spun away. As he removed the warlord's head, then continued on to kill the warrior to the warlord's left. Before the body had hit the ground, the cohort smashed what was left of the Pictish line. When the surviving Picts saw what had just been done to their leader, they spun and raced for the woods as fast as they could go. Claudius glanced at Gideon and nodded. "Do we pursue?" asked Claudius. "No," replied Gideon. "Let them go. Let them tell their brethren that we're ready for them. Let the word spread and the enemy tremble at the name of the Legio 9 Hispania." "Roma Victrix!" roared the cohort in union. "Ave Legio Hispania!" added Claudius. "Ave Cohort 9!" called Gideon. "Claudius, get me a casualty report and let's fall back to the gate." After a moment, Claudius returned and smiled. "Only minor injuries, sir," reported Claudius. "Good," said Gideon. "Give the command. Take us back to the citadel." "Of course, sir," replied Claudius. Gideon smiled as Claudius began to efficiently organize the cohort and get them back into formation. "Well, it looks like I found my sub-centurion," Gideon thought, watching Claudius with pride. "Ready, sir," said Claudius. Gideon glanced down at the body of the warlord and noticed something odd. Next to the body was a sword. Not one of the crudely forged swords that most of the tribesmen carried. This was a Roman sword. Gideon leaned down and removed the belted blade from the waist of the fallen warlord and examined it, slowly drawing it from the scabbard. "This is a Roman Spatha," said Claudius. "Yes, it is," said Gideon. "The question is, where did he get it?" Gideon began examining the blade and found the same smith's marks on it as on his own Spatha. From the condition, it couldn't be much older than a few years. "This is almost identical to my own blade," said Gideon. "This is a centurion's blade. Before we fall back, search the bodies, recover anything you find, and bring it back with us. I believe we've solved the mystery of the disappearance of the previous cohort 9. "Centurion!" shouted a soldier. "This one's still alive." "How badly is he wounded?" asked Gideon. "He should survive," replied the soldier, "if we get him to the Medicus Legionis." "Good," said Gideon. "Have the clinicus treat him and prepare him to move. We'll bring him back with us. He might have information we can use." Once the clinicus could prove the prisoner to be moved, the cohort formed up and returned to the gates. As they opened, the horns sounded on the walls as Cohort 9 returned victorious. There were cheers from the walls and the ranks of the assembled legionnaires as the cohort came to a stop in front of the large dais that the Legatus Legionis and Primus Pilus stood on, awaiting their return. "Fratres!" roared Gideon. "Consiste!" As one, the cohort came to a stop. "Ad scurum, clina!" Gideon called. As one, they turned left to face the dais. Then they locked into a rigid attention. Gideon smiled, despite himself. His unproven troops had just proven themselves in a major victory, and more importantly, returned with valuable intel. Claudius approached Gideon and presented him with a large bundle wrapped in a cloak. Gideon accepted it, then turned and approached the dais. "Legatus," said Gideon, "on behalf of the 9th cohort, I present to you these captured items, some of which were Roman in origin. We also present a prisoner for interrogation." "Well done," said the Legatus. "All of you, well done." Gideon climbed the stairs of the dais and presented the bundle. Inside were several captured swords, mostly gladii, of the missing cohort, including the Spatha that belonged to their centurion. There were also a mixture of Roman denarius, aureus, and sestertius coins in silver, gold, and bronze, respectively. There were also several Celtic Iceni coins, indicating the Picts had been trading with the tribes in the south of Britannia. "This does not bode well," said the Legatus. "If the southern tribes are uniting with the Picts, we may be facing another rebellion like the one led by Boudica and her pathetic followers." Okay, that's where we stopped last time. Thoughts, anybody? Anybody got anything before we get going? Chris Burkhardt says, "Were the Picts in the Conan comics from the late 80s? Could have been. They might have just been based on the Picts, because The Robert E. Howard universe is set in Hyboria, but if you look at the map of Hyboria, you could see where it was inspired from, parts of Europe, parts of Africa, and
Yeah.
parts of the Middle East. So yeah, you can definitely see where the inspiration drew from. So
Well,
at the very least, they were probably inspired by the Picts.
Howard mixed a lot of real world stuff into, because you got the Atlantis connection that's in there. There's a lot of stuff he mixed in with that, so it very well could have been based on real world tribes.
Oh, I'd say Robert E. Howard based a lot of stuff off real mythology, real history.
Yeah. Well, especially if
most
you go
writers do to an extent.
Yeah, but if you go back and read a lot of his earlier stuff, like not Conan's grandfather, so to speak, I guess, with what was that? But
Call the Conqueror.
yeah, Cole. Not that, but when you go back and read, there was a movie made about it. Solomon Kane.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah,
The Solomon Kane books, very good.
Yeah, very good. That was some of his best work, I think. I like a lot of the Solomon Kane stuff better than some of the Conan stuff, book wise. But there was a movie he made by that, but that was really heavily based on real things that went on in the world.
Okay, so we had a bunch of great ideas from folks last week. I'm thinking I liked the idea of them dealing with a werewolf. But in order to make this fit with a certain connection we're planning to make in another book, I won't say which book. I won't say which book, but in order to make this fit, I know it's going to have to just be one, because if we make it a group of them, it just kind of changes the narrative completely. So if they're going to fight a werewolf or a beast like that, similar to that, it's just going to have to be one for the rest of this chapter, because we don't want to overdo it in chapter 2. We want to present a bigger challenge as the book continues to progress. Larry Berlin says, were there any paranormal or cryptids feared by the Legion at this time? Well, when I was doing my research, there was an order in the Roman Empire called the Fraternitatem Noctis, the Brotherhood of Night. And they were formed after the fall of the Byzantine Empire. They were created from the Praetorian Guard, which was the elite of the elite. Those were the guards that were chosen to protect the emperor. But the Fraternitatem Noctis was formed from within the ranks of the Praetorian Guard to hunt monsters. That is what they did. Anything supernatural like that, they were the ones that were called in to deal with it. And when I created the Vatican's team for my books, the Fraternitatem Vigilantum, they were based on the Fraternitatem Noctis, the kind of modern evolution of them. But yeah, the Romans were aware of creatures like this, and it's mentioned that not only the Greeks and the Romans both mentioned fighting what they called, the cynocephali. So if there's something supernatural out there, the Romans knew about it.
Yep. Well, I mean, just look at their mythology and look at the creatures that they had in their mythos.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. I mean, I can't say you don't just make stuff up like that, because me and you do that all the time. But,
that's what writers do.
Yeah, but they have more vivid imaginations than we do, apparently, if that's the case. So I believe there was stuff that they dealt with. And why do you make agency, for lack of a better term? Why do you make something like that and put the time and the effort into finding people to be in it if there's not something that you're there. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to go through all that effort if there wasn't something that they felt like they needed to be used for.
Sorry, I had like 25 freaking messages pop up. Kevin said check your messages. So I went to check that, and I had a whole slew of other messages. I was just kind of quickly moving through them. But yeah, we've got to finish out this chapter. That's probably what we'll concentrate on for this show, and then next week we'll probably start chapter 3. I would like to reach the end of chapter 2 by the end of tonight. We still got an hour and a half to go, and even if we go a little long, so be it. I don't want to keep Robbie up too terribly late, but my goal is to get to the end of chapter 2. So should we close out this chapter with another? Should we build up to another fight? Should we do their first patrol? Should they fight fight some mythical creature? This is where y'all sound off, because again, like I said, we're building this story together. Jonathan says Robbie can handle it. Chris Burkhardt, the movie Van Helsing. Movie Van Helsing hunted monsters for the church, and I think that was the Fraternitatum Noctis. I really do. I think that's what that was based on, because that historically did exist, and I think it later became the Jesuit order. This is just my own person. From what I've read, this is just what I think. I think the Fraternitatum Noctis was folded into the Jesuit order, which is exactly why I made the Fraternitatum Vigilantium part of the Jesuits. Tammy says, fight a creature. Cajun Dog says, a dragon being controlled by a druid. Dude, that'd be a big fight, and more than likely a dragon would wipe them out. I don't think that this barely trained cohort's quite ready for a dragon. Maybe once they cross into Caledonia, up into Caledonia, maybe they'll run into something like that. Because remember, at the end of this, the 9th is gone.
Except for one.
Maybe just one. Who knows? We'll see. But I do like that. I like the dragon idea, but it's a little early for a dragon. It's cavalry.
I'd rather prefer a dragon.
Toshi says, I say they do a patrol, but more Picts attack, and one of them is wearing a Roman banner like a cape. I could see that. I could see that happening.
But if they do fight the one beast, you want to tell them what that's going to be?
Yeah. Go ahead. You tell them.
All right. If we do a beast and it's a werewolf type creature like we've talked about, it has to be an Ulfhednar, because that's going to tie in with something that we were working on. Because we did not intend for this to go this way, but this is how this writing game works, and I've come to find this out. And I guess DA's kind of just figuring out, because he's never wrote multiple books with another author before, so this is kind of new territory for both of us. But this is just kind of unintentionally turned into a blueprint. Maybe will be the best way to this is, and y'all are helping with this too. But y'all are unintentionally helping us make a blueprint for some things going forward. So it's got to be an Ulfhednar if we go with a werewolf, because that's kind of how things are set up, that we've already set up. And with this being the blueprint, so
I like Lisa's idea, and I like Larry's idea. I like the dragon idea, but I want to save that for later in the book. A little early for this. We've got to have character progression to get them to the point where they can stand against something like that. Because this early in the book, most of that cohort's not going to survive, if not all of them. Including Gideon. Gideon might get toasted pretty bad too. But they need to progress to that point. They need to get past some smaller monsters. Kelly Marie says hybrid werewolf. That's not a bad idea. Chris
said in the middle of the night they hear the howl that was just up the road from me.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd keep them up at night.
Yeah, it would. Uh, well, bearing those ideas in mind, I think I'm going to jump in and start putting some words on paper. Robbie, keep an eye on the comments,
I got it.
and any really good ones, really juicy ones you see, you either put them up on the screen or just point them out to me. But I'm Don Donaldson says I like Toshi's idea. Okay,
I didn't see
which one? Which one was Toshi's idea? Let me go back and see that.
I'll go back. You go ahead and start. I'll go back and see if I can find it.
Okay.
Oh, he's talking about the one you already read where he said, do the patrol and find a pick wearing a Roman banner like a cape.
I like that idea.
Wyatt says, if they fight a beast, Gideon should fight it and beat him or defeat it in front of his men at some point. Because for Gideon to have knowledge that we need going forward, he has to have knowledge of these things at some point during this book that we're writing here. Is that a good way to explain it, DA?
Mm-hmm.
Because he gives knowledge to somebody in an upcoming book that he while he was here.
Crixus and Marcellus. That was Crixus is the Primus Pilus. Marcellus was the Legatus. Had to remind myself of the names.
I do that all dang time. What did I name those idiots?
What did I open? God dang it.
Now, Chris got a good idea. Says have the patrol run into a pick warband and they think they're charging them, but they find out they're running in fear from something.
Kind of like that, too. But see, we could probably use aspects of all of those ideas.
Hang on. Toshi had something I was trying to read. Pick they're captured beginning. The pick they captured is being questioned, but once the sun goes down, they hear a massive howl in the dark, and the pick laughs and says, "You'll be meat for the beast." That's a pretty good idea, too. Kathy says, have Gideon tell the prisoner about a secret weapon they have in the form of a supernatural creature.
Well, Gideon won't be the one interrogating the prisoner, so that'll have to come up later after they've got the guy to talk. So, but that'll happen. Right now, the guy's being taken to the surgeons, the battlefield surgeons, to be put back together. But probably some point in chapter 3, we'll get some clues as to what they discovered. But a little early for that because there's no way the guy was like, I'll talk.
All right, you got me.
Yeah, you're gonna clean me up, and I'll tell you everything you want to know. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Not usually. Ed Peak says, have them fight pigs while on patrol, and after the battle, a howl is heard, and the Ulfhednar is seen taking casualties off the battlefield.
Okay, I like that, Roxanne.
Hey, Rodney's in the house.
Hey, Rodney. Man, if I could type. A giant picked.
Yep.
Chris Burkhardt says a giant picked. That's pretty cool. Could be giants.
Yeah. Ed pointed out where you said you were promoted. Said Gideon, you misspelled Gideon.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Poncho. That's funny. Chris Burkhardt says later down the line, have them travel to Ireland and run into a banshee, second or third book. Well, Chris is already planning a series for this one. I like that.
Well,
Roxanne, yeah, happens to me all the time. Okay, did not mean to do that. God dang it. I keep hitting the wrong button. Chris says, I'm just happy Gideon's an NCO in the books. Officers get too much credit. Yeah, even in Wild Hunt books, Gideon's still an NCO. He's never allowed himself to be promoted to an officer. I'm really surprised Clark did. I mean, I know, even for the story, I was kind of thinking, would Clark even accept a promotion to officer? But he was offered XO of Team Odin, so he really didn't have a choice. But even Clark still acts like an enlisted man. He's not much of an officer.
No, he's actually the best kind of officer.
Yeah, he leads from the front and thinks like a grunt. Oops. I don't know how I keep hitting that. Sorry. Cajun Mustangs or Maverick. Yeah, That's a military term for somebody who became an officer after coming up through the enlisted ranks. You
Yeah, I've
know,
only heard Mustang used. I've never heard Maverick used for that.
I've heard
Maverick.
Maverick and Mustangs.
I've heard Maverick.
Mostly Mustang, but I've heard Maverick used as well.
I've heard Maverick. And I'm just saying what I've heard. Maverick is an officer who doesn't follow the structure. Who goes. Mustang is as an enlisted that goes from enlisted to officer, but Maverick is an officer who doesn't follow the structure and doesn't, like, if the higher up say you send that guy over there and he knows that guy's going to get killed and he says no, I'm not going to do it, and he does it his way. That's what I've always heard of Maverick is. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm right. That's what I've always heard. Is Maverick is an officer who puts the best interest of his men before his career, so to speak. Which I guess Clark would be both. He would be a Mustang
He's
and a Maverick.
Maverick and a Mustang.
Yeah.
He started out enlisted and he doesn't follow the rules. He's more of a it's better to ask forgiveness than permission kind of guy.
That's why I was asking if they meant Mustang, because of Clark going from enlisted to, because I've heard both words, but they're used differently that I've heard. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's how it's always been described to me.
Vicky, you know your Celtic lore. That's I don't know if they're quite ready for him to run into the Morrigan. The Morrigan's a goddess, and I don't think they're quite ready for that. If they're not ready for a dragon, they're not ready for a god. Pukas, that's a possibility, but I was thinking something a little more in line with what we're already been kind of hinting at in the books. But that's always a possibility. But I do like that you're mentioning the Morrigan, because we got tons of room for Celtic folklore in this. Cajun says rules. We don't need no stinking rules. Cole says E4 Mafia for life. If it existed, which it doesn't. Cajun, yeah, goddess of war. The Morrigan was not to be trifled with. what's the word I'm looking for here?
I was watching the comments. I wasn't watching.
In firearms, it's what is it? Strong side, weak side, or dominant
go-
hand? Like if
we
you
go.
have to switch pistols,
We say strong side, weak side,
strong side,
but
weak
or
side.
not dominant, non-dominant. I've heard it used that way too. But were you talking like something else for ambidextrous? So, another word for that?
Yeah, I think there is, but I think I'm just going to go with that. There's no sense in.
Obviously, I'd
It's
say with their
ultimately it'll say the same thing. It just can
they
be.
would probably in those terms they would probably say weak side.
How's that?
Yeah, because I mean they had to know that there's a strong side and a weak side to their body. I mean, especially elite soldiers like that, and I'm sure they would have trained for that. So is that where Marcinko got it?
We probably got it from Gideon.
They probably met.
I would say so. Take it to Ragnarok and have a village of the undead. Maybe. Cole, you heading out? Good night, dude. Thanks, Cole. Hope you have a good night, dude. Be safe at work. That needs to be the same paragraph. That's the word I'm looking for. I think I prefer when. I don't care what. I don't care what what a word is suggesting. I think I prefer when instead of than. What do you think?
I think Word needs to mind its own business most of the time.
Yeah, because sometimes it's suggestions of like
Makes no sense. Literally, I've had it suggest things that would change the entire tone of a paragraph. I'm like, no, are you stupid? That has no. Did you read the rest of the paragraph before you suggested this?
Roxanne says bellowed through the air. Maybe.
Would a howl be really described as a bellow, though? If I think of a howl and how it filling the air, to me, you sound, because a howl just kind of fans out.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll go with what we've got. What do you guys think?
If it was like if the thing was closer and it was letting out a roar, yeah, I would say bellow. But a howl to me sounds more like it fills the air than just my personal opinion.
How's that?
This would definitely be where some of those firelight stories would be coming from.
Okay, here's one for you guys. This is for the chat in general. This is 108 AD, the Roman army. They're not going to go bloody hell or what the shit was that? I need an expletive, a sudden cry, like what the hell was that? But not necessarily that. That's not exactly that terminology. Like by Odin's beard, but the Romans wouldn't say that.
Cajun, come on,
Cajun, give us a little idea here.
I don't know, Kelly. I kind of like a deep, deep snark. That just sounds funny. Just no part. What the fuckus?
What is fuckus? Yeah, maybe. Pluto's tunic. That's not bad.
Stray Wolf horse's ass.
Horse's ass.
My old partner used to say that all the time. Horse's ass.
I've used that phrase to describe folks a few times, but I don't know that I've ever used it as like, oh, horse's ass. What the hell was that?
Jupiter's beard. What was that? Says Toshi the Wolf.
Jupiter's beard. That's pretty good. Let's go with that.
Angela says, what in Pluto's name? That's a good one.
Cajun Talk says, I can't remember their term for skivvies.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
No. What was it, Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I nearly soiled my armor.
Oh,
Or in Highlander, I peed me kilt the first time I went into battle. Oh, aye, Angus pees his kilt all the time.
heard that line last night.
Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld. I kind of like Jupiter's beard, though. I think I like that one. Richie Evans says, real question, DA, how'd you make out on selling books? We did really well at that convention. For a little one day, it was actually only 7 hours from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We actually sold more books in that 7 hours than we did the entire weekend when we were in Ohio last year. So it was really good. I'm going to have to order some more books before Ohio. Cajun says, go Spartacus, I guess. But yeah, we did really good at it. I was really surprised. Very happy.
Chris Burkhardt, by Achilles' heel. I don't think they would have known about Achilles' heel at that point, would they?
Or the Al Bundy, Great Caesar's ghost.
There you go.
Should I throw that in there just because I love Al Bundy so much?
I'm not even going to try to repeat what Rice Krispie Cowgirl said.
I like it. That's funny.
Oh.
Thanks, Richie. Thank you, guys.
What, in the public toilet?
My friend, biggest, thickest.
I fought in your general direction.
Okay, that makes no sense. Why would it suggest bolting him? That's not. Okay, you're
Like I
absolutely right.
said,
Windows is full of it sometimes.
Word needs to mind its own damn business most of the time. And good God, Word and Grammarly cannot agree on anything. You change something that Grammarly suggests, and then Word suggests you change it right back, and then
Oh yeah,
Grammarly.
they fight back and forth constantly. Most of the time, I listen to Grammarly. Yeah, 98% of the time, I listen to Grammarly.
Oh, I finally went in and turned Word off as far as spell check goes. It got to be where it was so confounding. I was just like, I'm done with this. And I Googled how to consulted the Googles, and found out how to turn it off because it was just driving me up the wall.
Fresh Crispy Cowgirl says, "This is a battle steed. It's not poor. It's rolling its eyes. It's ready." Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you, but it's smelling something it doesn't know what it is. It knows it's not facing something human. Otherwise, it would be pawing at the ground ready to charge. Now, this is a battle trained animal that doesn't know what it's up against. It's terrified. Grammarly does not understand horses in battle. Grammarly doesn't understand a lot of things. Heart beast.
I was just about to. What's a heart beast?
No, not. Why did I let that change it? It didn't struck out of the trees. It streaked out of the trees. Let's go with raced. That way it doesn't freak it out so much.
Nope, I think we just lost Tammy.
What happened?
She said no.
It killed the horse. Sorry.
I think I saw earlier where she said if the horse dies, I'm out of here.
Apparently, it didn't like the apostrophe. Okay, we'll go with that.
Oh, I give up on trying to figure out when to put the apostrophe in its, because Grammarly says no, or excuse me, Word says no, Grammarly says yes. Fido is what I say when it comes to its.
It's not fangs on a dog. Would you call them fangs or those?
Yeah.
Would they be fangs or those? I know
Yeah.
they're canine teeth, but would they be called fangs?
Yeah, people call werewolf fangs all the time. Fangs of the wolf. I've described Rick's fangs before, so. I mean, I'm not saying that's right. I mean, that may be specifically for snakes and things like that, but I've heard it from other people and I've used it, so. Tammy, a maw's another word for mouth, a big gaping mouth. It's one of them fancy $20 words.
It's only a 3-letter word. Come on now.
Yeah, but it's still a fancy $20 word.
Okay. All right, fine. You want me to use the $20 word? There we
No,
go.
I'm explaining it. Cavernous.
Cavernous gaping maw.
24. That's a $60 word describing mouth, or $60 phrase describing mouth.
And blood on him twofers.
Yep. And that's what you call making change out of $20 words.
It had meat and blood in his mouth.
He had all them little bits hanging off of them twofers. Tammy's still grieving over the horse.
Sorry, Tammy.
Cajun, that's more than $30 word. That's like a $130 word.
What was it? I don't even know if I could spell it, but this is supposed to be the longest actual word in.
I'm impressed that Cajun typed that out and spelled it. I mean, I'd still be trying to sound it out if I was trying to type it.
Nope, I didn't spell it right. What else did I get?
Anti-establishment and yeah, that word.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yeah.
If I ever use that in a book, I will have achieved something. The thesaurus is like, I got nothing.
Whatever. I guess it's right.
The thesaurus responds, "Shut up, Doc."
Yeah.
I'm going to Google it and see what that actually means. Anti-disestablishmentarianism is opposition to the disestablishment of the Church of England.
Oh, yeah. Of course it is.
Okay, well, clearly we're not going to be using that word in this particular story.
I don't think that either one of us, maybe something around some of the characters in your books might come close to that, but I'm thinking of one in particular that could maybe.
Toshi says somewhere Doc has a tingling feeling that you guys were talking big words. Somewhere at home, Doc's going. I feel a disturbance in the perspicacity.
He's like, my monosyllabic friend has used a large
Large.
word.
Probably get a text later. Don't strain yourself, Robbie.
Yep, he tends to know when I talk gooder. You ready to spatula? I thought that's what you about to tap or type.
Yeah. Slapping it in the face with a spatula like a fly swatter.
Or he pulls out. Want some bacon and eggs? How about some pancakes? Hey, there you go, Cajun dog. Troglodyte. There you go, Arlen. That's good. He ready to spatula and flipped him like a burger.
That's funny.
He's like, hey, this ain't Burger King. You don't get it your way.
That's right.
Okay. Just for you, have you got to a certain battle scene yet and seen some damage that occurred?
I don't think I have because I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so probably only going to serve to piss it off, but drive it away, but only piss it off. Hurt it, but not anywhere near killing it.
Right.
Follow, tracking, got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But definitely serve to piss it off and make it move and leave if that's what you're aiming for. You know, for continuity's sake. There's another one in big $20 words. Doc's turning over in his bed right now. Oh, God, that's two of them in one night. What's going on? Lisa Reed smacked him on the nose. Bad dog.
Hold on. I want to look at the exact wording of the line. I don't know. Would they have an equivalent of smart ass, or just call him a smart ass?
Maybe you would just call him Margolin. I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure they had something that Toshi said it'd be Pan. Or Wise Arse. That's what Kelly Marie said. But did they use Arse?
Yeah, I definitely butchered that word.
Cajun says Dolar. Hang on. DOLORASINAE. I guess that was. I'm assuming that's their.
What does dolaracine mean?
I would assume that because we were talking about that. I would assume that means smart ass or wise ass or fucking dickhead. No, DOLOR. Yeah. ASINE.
All right, what does that mean, Cajun?
Smart ass is what he said.
Smart ass? I think the next Wild Hunt book, Gideon's going to call Margolin that. You know, you remind me of somebody I knew years ago, dolaracine.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, Sergeant Major, about 6:30, but I don't think I'll be able to make it to the party.
Yeah. And someone walks off, And someone they walk off, and someone said, "Margolin, what did he call you?" I don't know, but I think he's going to give me $1. That's a Margolin line right there.
That it sure is. Would that be fell magic or fell beast like in World of Warcraft?
No, in this context, fell basically just means evil.
Okay. Well, I mean that's still kind of the same thing because that's what the fell was in World of Warcraft.
That's true, but the word fell's been around a while.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm just saying that's still kind of the same contextual meaning is what I meant. It just instead of it being just meaning like you said there, it was actually a form of magic in Warcraft.
Hold on a second, I'm looking up. Okay, and like in the using the term fell beasts, the word fell is an archaic adjective meaning deadly, terrible, fierce, or cruel. So, appropriate, I think. Did I put 2 spots there? Yes, I did. Thought it looked like there was an extra space there.
You say Cajun dogs next.
Ulf Hednar is an Old Norse term, so it has no direct single word Latin translation. However, its meaning can be expressed by combining Latin words. A close-up translation would be lupe pelliti. I like that. Okay, we'll put that in. Yeah, Toshi, exactly. That I think that was the first time I heard the phrase "fell beasts." Was the first time I read Tolkien, and that was a long time ago. Don says, "Robbie, you play Warcraft?" But yeah, Cajun, keep that phrase close at hand. I don't have anything to jot it down with handy. So yeah, but I definitely want to use that phrase at some point.
Justin, silver probably wouldn't work on Ulfhednar because it's not technically a werewolf. It is the wolves of Odin. So it would probably require something just a mite different than an average werewolf. And I got a pretty good knowledge of why this is. Why I would know this? Do you, DA?
Don't know.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I froze up. I mean, everything just went dead silent there for a second.
Now I can't hear you.
What about now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, weird. Cajun says I'll send it to you. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and put it in right now.
It's way you put it in here, LUPI.
Yeah, I hit the wrong thing.
Okay.
Okay, what does that actually mean, Cajun? Toshi says, you know, it'd be lucky, unlucky. Imagine battling a werewolf in a storm and you impale it on a spear only for a random bolt of lightning to strike it down and blast it. That would be kind of cool. I think we're too early to kill one, though. Now we have another term, Lupi Politi. We're definitely going to use that one.
Yep.
Thanks, Cajun. I like that, dude. I knew Lupi was wolf, but what is Politi? I am going to consult
the Googles.
The Googles. When I said that, my phone activated like it was waiting for a voice command. So apparently it understands what the Googles is. You should register that trademark.
I told you we should.
Lupe Politi translates from Latin as wolves in skins. It refers to the participants in the ancient Roman festival of Lupercalia who wore the skins of goats that were sacrificed during the ritual. The key aspect of Lupi Polite include the Lupercalia festival, a rite of passage. Lupercalia is also associated with the rituals of male adolescence. Mythological connection. The ritual was connected to the mythical founding of Rome by Romulus and Remus. The Lupercal, the cave where the she-wolf Lupa suckled the twins, was the starting point for the run. So that may not actually apply. It sounded cool, but
well, when it said skins, I was like, "Ooh, that does sound." But because that's one of the legends of the wolf had Nars. They're just like the berserkers.
Yeah.
But
okay, I'm going to try something. I'm just going to let the Googles. Okay. In Roman belief, a werewolf was called a versipellis, meaning turn skin, and was seen as a person who could magically turn into a wolf. Okay, we're gonna. Sorry, Cajun, that was a great suggestion, but we're gonna have to go with. Oh, there's only. Versipellis. Yep. Okay. We're going to add that to the dictionary so it'll quit. All right. And guess what? Shut up. Google? Let me not Google. Word, leave me alone. Especially on dialogue.
We must consult the Googles.
How much have we added since we started?
Pretty good bit.
Okay, we were before that. Okay, so we started right here. Right there, after he made the comment, Boudica and her pathetic followers. We've added 4, 5, 6 pages. We're on page. This is page 16. We're on page 22.
I mean, that's actually a pretty decent place to stop, though, if you think about it, because you wrote them up to where they've encountered the beast, and they've asked what they're going to do, or they've kind of identified it, and what's our plan? We got to fight magic with magic. We must consult the oracle. You kind of get up to a nice natural crescendo to where you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we got like one more line I'm going to add in. What is the... Hold on, I'm going to look up a Roman command. I know it's one our sergeants used to yell at us, the equivalent of quickly.
Rapido.
It would be something like that. Come on now. Surely there's the command I'm looking for. Well, I'm not finding one. Weird. You would think there'd be at least something. Here's one for speed up, but that's not the same. Okay, I've got 2 lists. Let me check the other one.
Caden says Cito, Cito.
That might be it.
So it means quickly.
Adsigna means fall in.
Justin, movus thine gluteus maximus.
Yeah. Hollis asses.
Kevin Butson. Move it. Movete. One word. Arcadian says double time means duplex tempus.
Would that have been an actual command they would have used, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Huh. Well, there's every other freaking command known to man in here. But I can't find quickly or double time or. Yeah, it's not in here. God dang it. That's just aggravating.
Caden's got a good point. He said doubt they would use it, but everybody knows double time. So
True. Okay, and I think that is exactly where I'm going to stop that. This is where we'll start chapter 3. Okay, so what do we want to call chapter 3? Insert page break. Chapter, not chapter.
chapter 3.
What do we want to call? Oh, Kevin says I sent you what I found. Okay, sorry, Kevin, I didn't see that. Let's see. Where's it at, Kevin? Kevin sent a photo. Okay. It's Accelera. That one was actually in that other one. I just didn't know if it was. Oops. Don't leave the caps lock on. Is that how it's spelled? No. Accelera.
Accelera, Latin for step on the gas.
All ass, boys. We're going to go with it means speed up or double time. And we're going to add this to the dictionary so it doesn't keep trying to correct my spelling every time. All right. Okay, so well, this is where everybody gets involved again. What do we want to call this chapter, and what do we want it to be about? Ooh, I've got a possibility, but if any of y'all come up with something better, what do you guys think?
I like it.
Okay, I need to go back up here. It's one of the things I always do at the chapters is copy this and then then change the date. Oh, well, if they're going back, it'd be the same day. But I think at this point we've established it's in 108 AD. I don't think we need to keep putting that in there. Let's go with, say, a few days have passed. So that was the 4th.
Yes. So go.
Let's call it. Oops. Yeah, it would be 2 days' time.
Oh.
Okay. So what do you guys think? You like the Oracle? Lisa reads his preparation of battle. That's not bad. Tammy listens says Jonathan called it first, DA. I missed something. Yeah. Jonathan, they need to go talk to the Oracle. So we'll call this chapter. I think the Oracle, questing the captive, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of liking the Oracle. What do you guys think? Should we call it the Oracle? Do you guys want to call it something else? I am open to suggestions. Cajun Dog says the Rubicon. The Rubicon is a good one, but maybe for later on. Because I've always liked that quote. Sink or swim, live or die, the die is cast. We have crossed the Rubicon. The Rubicon meaning, the river Rubicon, but calling a chapter the Rubicon, basically indicating a point of no turning back. I like that. Jonathan says quest for knowledge.
A few people are asking, isn't XI 11 and shouldn't it be VI for 6?
Good catch. Yep. That was unintentional. That was me hitting the wrong key. But yeah, 2 days later. They're not going to be at the Eberacum. They'll start there, but yeah, I'll just leave it that way for now.
Well, that's where they're headed back to, right?
No, they would have been got back there the same day because they were only a couple hours out. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they're headed back there to talk to the Oracle. So,
if there's an oracle at the Citadel, they may have to go somewhere else to find one. And the scene from 13th Warrior comes to mind. They have to go find some old hag that lives in the woods to read the bones. Because surely there wouldn't be an oracle in literally every Roman outpost. They'd have to find someone.
The one that read the bones was in the first act when they were still wherever they were at. The old hag.
Yeah, in the camp. She was there at the camp.
Yep. They went to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Or the one that was in after they found the Ven.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the village.
Yeah, they went to a different one.
Mm-hmm. So there was actually two oracles in that movie.
So so the chapter 3 will be about them seeking out an oracle. How's that sound? Lori says, "I'm not an oracle, just an old hag." That's funny. Cajun Dog, the angel of death. That's right. Don Donaldson says Gray Eagle. They're going to seek out Gray Eagle. He's not an oracle though. That'd be more Jay Matoska or Jason.
No, the women are going to seek out Gray Eagle.
Yeah, that's true. Jonathan says that movie is my favorite. 13th Warrior is awesome. I need to watch that again. Kevin Boats is Amanda Clark. Let's see. Toshi said no, she would have to be in an old lair by the ocean or in a protected glade in the woods. That's what I'm thinking. They're going to have to hunt one out. Probably either an old druid or just an old, what they used to call them hedge witches. But the local oracle would, be like 13th Warrior would read the bones or other signs. Lori gives us Tammy, let's buy a horse. Yeah, sorry about killing the horse, but at least it didn't rip Gideon's head off. That would have been, changed history. Wait, hang on a second. It ripped your head off. Shut up, Steve. Let me finish telling the story. Hey, Jonathan, when you die, can I give that to me daughter? Give an Arab a sword and he makes a knife.
He insisted.
I can't wield this. Grow stronger.
Put your hand up, brother.
Let's go with the likes. Okay, so everybody in favor for the Oracle, give us a thumbs up. You can use the thumbs up emoji, I guess. Give us a thumbs up, and me and Robbie take your shoes off so you can count them.
Okay, they're off.
Lori says I'm Scotch, English, Cajun. There you go. That's quite the combo. Tammy says Gray Eagle wouldn't have killed the horse. No, he would not have. He'd have stole it. He'd have counted coup and stole the horse.
Are you sure you're not an English Cajun that just likes to drink scotch? And you getting confused?
Mr. Anderson says people think it's about peyote, but it has to do with shamanism and Indies mostly, but it connects to warriors in all cultures. I agree. I would love to take part in what the Lakota call the Yanipi, or the sacred sweat. I would love to do one of those. Oh,
I do that every day at work.
Well, I don't mean sweating my ass off. I can do that in the yard, but I mean a full-on sweat with the full ritual. Kevin Boat says, "How far from Ireland are they?" About midway up the UK. Well, if you look on a map of the UK and look where Hadrian's Wall is. They're basically across the channel from Ireland. Not real far.
We've got about 10 likes so far.
Okay. And who would like, what was the other suggestion? I already forgot. Trying to scroll back. Cajun Dogs is the Angel of Death. That's a pretty good one. Jonathan said Quest for Knowledge. Okay, next one we'll ask about is Quest for Knowledge. I don't want to use Angel of Death because that's basically just straight out of 13th Warrior. So we'll go with the Oracle if we're going to use that. So how many for Quest for Knowledge? And the other one, I know what it is. Anybody, any thumbs up for Quest for Knowledge? Jonathan says, I like Oracle the best. Okay, we're not getting any thumbs up for Quest for Knowledge. Or the other one was the Rubicon. Anybody for the Rubicon? Kind of looking like it's the Oracle. Oracle got a whole bunch of thumbs up.
Yep.
Okay, I think we've pretty much come settled on the Oracle. Holy crap! Hey, and we're 20 minutes over the top of the second hour too. That one really went well. We'd keep going for a little bit, but Robbie's got to get up early in the morning for work, so I don't want to keep him on the hook for too terribly long. But folks, this is really, really growing into a great story, and it's this is the process. This is what we do. This. Robbie goes through the same process, although we've got different variances in how we do things. But basically, at the end of the day, it boils down to this is exactly what both of us do. We pull research. We look up different terms. We create the story flow. We create character names. This is the glimpse behind that mythical curtain. If you've ever wondered how your favorite authors go through the process, I would say probably every author ever has at least a similar process to what we do. Roxanne says, and future books. Yeah, I could see this becoming more than just a book. We could do a whole series just on Gideon's flashbacks. Jonathan says that could be a good for another chapter when they're set to kill the beast. I think the Rubicon should be the title of the chapter when they first march north. When they go past where Hadrian's Wall is gonna be, when they go north as the entire legion goes north, I think that's the Rubicon where they've stepped into enemy territory and there's no going back. Tammy says, don't kill any more domestic animals, please. I will do my best. We'll see what happens, though. Thanks, Don. So we'll pick up chapter 3 next Monday, and folks, get your ideas together. I've got a couple ideas that I'm ready to implement, but we'll need we'll need a name for the Oracle. We'll need to know where she is. Do you want her to be in some glade deep in the woods? Do you want them to have to go clear to the ocean to meet up with her? There's got to be a setting where they find the Oracle. Who goes? Because they're not going to take the whole cohort. It'll just be a few people sneaking out to consult the Oracle. So y'all come up with your ideas, and we'll go over them after we read over the last part of that chapter, like we do to recap, and we will. Is she Celt or Roman? I would say she's probably going to have to be Celt. Oh, what if they had to? When did they kill Boudica? Ooh. Okay, she's been dead for a while at this point. She died in 61 AD, so Boudica ain't around no more.
Yeah, they better be taking a Ouija board with them if they want to consult her.
Okay, well, according to the Googles, there's no record that it can find of an actual oracle at that time in England. But it would definitely in 108 AD be far more pagan. There wouldn't be much of the Roman influence there at that time. The Romans were still there, but the common people of what they call it. They call
Britannia.
it Britannia. The common people of Britannia were still by and large pagan. So any of the oracles that they would find locally would probably be Celtic or one of the pagan tribes. More than likely Celtic. So we'll kick that around and see what we come up with for next week. But folks, thank you guys so much. Oh, Arlen Neal says Merlin around 12 or 13. Yeah, a little early for Merlin. But Lori, have a good night. Thank you for being here. Yeah, folks, kick your ideas around, write them down, jot down your notes, and we'll see how this goes. I'm really liking how this is shaping up. We're having a lot of fun with this, and I'm glad you guys are getting to not only help with the creative process, but share the writing process. This is a new experience, and I'm really glad that this idea came to me because it's something that you guys can participate in far more than just even the alpha readers. This is a much deeper level. You're actually part of the creative process, which I think is a lot of fun. And who knows? Maybe the next when we finish this book, maybe Robbie will be in the writer's seat and I'll be over here. We'll have to see about getting Robbie a second monitor.
Yeah.
But in the
second set of fingers to be able to type better and faster for us.
Yeah, don't forget to check out Robbie's new book, Terror of the Wampus Cat. It is doing well on Amazon, and it is a fun read. You guys will definitely enjoy it. And you can find all of Robbie's books on Amazon. They're available in print, in Kindle, and in audio. So check them out. And we'll be watching for coming soon, thenightmarehunter.com. So that'll have Robbie's books on there, be links to my stuff, to Dark Angel, to the show, to all of our projects will be featured on thenightmarehunter.com. I already have the website, and I've had the framework up for a while, but I'm in the process of completely restructuring it, and I think it's going to be really cool once it's all done. Jonathan says so no and someone else. Yeah. But yeah, again, don't forget to check out our affiliates, check out Robbie's works. You can find all of my stuff at daroberts.net or on amazon.com. And just like Robbie, my books are all available in print, Kindle, and in audio. And my newest one is Lakeview Man, Dead of Winter. And I am very close to finishing Dark Frontiers, Mountain Devil of the Absarokas. And on its heels, I've already got a lot of the research done for the next book, which will be Codename Wild Hunt, Leviathan Down. I was going to go with Grey Lady Down, but I found out recently that Grey Lady Down was never actually a military phrase. It was just made up for the movie Grey Lady Down. but I thought it was the actual term, but it's not. But we're going to be calling it's going to be dark. Codename Wild Hunt Leviathan Down, and I'm really excited to get that one started. I think you guys are going to like it. On the heels of Leviathan Down, will be another Apex Predator book, and then I'll probably do another Dark Frontiers book. I'm still working on titles for the next Apex Predator, but if you notice, all of them have been something Moon. So if you guys got any suggestions for something similar to Dark Moon, Black Moon, Blood Moon. I haven't done one called Black Moon, but I've done Harvest Moon, Hunter's Moon, Blood Moon, Wolf Moon, and Dark Moon. But I've come up with,
Horn Moon. You did
that. Horn Moon, Hunter's Moon, Dark Moon, Blood Moon, and Wolf Moon. Those have all been done. But you guys can help us come up with a title for that, and we'll be back with you guys next week to do this again. Don't forget to join us on Wednesday night. I haven't got the show set up yet. Topic to be determined. But we'll be back with you guys on Wednesday night and again on Saturday. And we're looking forward to hanging out with you guys. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We had a ball. I really enjoy doing this. And it's something I want to keep doing for a while. I mean, it seems to be pretty popular. And I'm happy that it is. I'm going to stop sharing this so it bring our screens up a little bit more. But before we go, I always want to mention the 22-A Foundation. It seems to be driven home lately. I'm seeing a lot of posts about people losing the fight, and it saddens me every time. But we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. And the toll that's taken on our first responders is just as high. If you look at odmp.com, which stands for Officer Down Memorial page, they profile when we lose officers in the line of duty, but they also do other deaths as well. And ODMP really shows the toll that our first responders are going through. So check them out. Check out the Till Valhalla project. And if you want to support somebody that really does go out of their way to support veterans, helping them get service dogs, helping get plaques to families of fallen soldiers, go to Till Valhalla and check them out. They're a great group of guys over there. Don't forget the 22-A Foundation, folks. Check on your friends and family. Check on your first responder and military friends. Let them know you think about them. Let them know you care, because 22 a day is 22 too many. And let's get that down to zero. I think we can do it. I believe we can. Let's get 22 a day down to zero, and it would be a better world. And folks, don't forget, keep Miss Lene and Maggie in your prayers. And if any of y'all are having issues, don't forget to, if you don't have to say what, just comment prayers, and we'll all pray for you as well. Because if we don't help each other, ain't no one gonna. And I'm all about supporting each other. And I tell Robbie this all the time. I'm a firm believer that when the tide comes in, all ships should rise. And I don't just want myself to prosper. I want all of us to prosper. And I want, good for each and every one of you, because this is a family. We might put the fun in dysfunctional, but we're still a family. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys and everything you guys do. And we really appreciate the time you share with us, and sharing the stories, because again, stories are journeys that we take together, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking this journey with us, because it's a lot of fun, and we get to share our visions, we get to share our ideas, we get to share our writing, and without you, none of that would be possible. So thank you guys so much. Let me grab a bottle of water, and again, we'll do the toast. Robbie, you up for the toast?
Sure. See if I can remember. Which word did I mess up on last?
And it's same point. I was just being nitpicky.
All right. Let's see if I can remember it now. I got so.
I put him on the spot. There we go.
I'm just trying to. I had it last time, and there are good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. Did I get it right?
You did. And folks, thanks again Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Bless each and every one of you. And I wish all of you all the happiness and success in this world. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. Slán Jama.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.